Sorry, guys. Um, I don't know. All right. Um, I've been having some issues with getting connected to different sites lately. I somehow came home on my birthday, and my phone. I left my phone. I thought on the table behind me in the kitchen. And did my made my food, and after I ate my food, I went laid and sit in the chair, ate my food, I fell asleep. And I came back and my phone was gone, and my keys are gone. And then I couldn't get into my apartment, and then get, I couldn't find my phone. I still haven't found my iPhone. I had to replace my iPhone, and then I replaced it. I recently had got a Obama phone. The Obama phone was always not working when it was defective, so I ended up getting another phone. I got one to use the firm on Amazon and got a iPhone 12 Max. The phone 12 Max, the problem with it was defective because somebody replaced the screen, replaced the battery, and just was defective. So mobile supply we were good enough, and they sent me a new phone out, and I've worked a deal where I'm trying to fix it to pay them back for it, and also buying I buy a new phone uh, using the same. They wanted to take care of me because they wanted to keep Amazon happy. They also wanted to take care of me because they sell to other providers other than Amazon and locally in New York, and they want to be good customer service. And this is why this video is about customer service. I think they did a great job doing customer service. Um, I put a post on their Amazon site, and they immediately contacted me and said, "Let's get this fixed." And they fixed the mobile supply, went about above and beyond and getting it fixed. Um, Now, and I recently mailed back my phone back the iPhone 12 that I had, the 12 Pro Max. The thing I liked about it, it had SIM, and then it also had this eSIM. This current phone has a eSIM only, and I don't know if I'm able to like eSIM or not, but it's okay. The only problem is when I've been trying to get technical support because I lost my iPhone 15 that my brother was paying for, and I owe him. He told me just do a lot of exercising and do a lot of uh, make yourself better because you're sick and you're disabled, and I'm doing this just to help you because you're I love you. I'm your brother. So I said, fine, I'll do all I can do. So I walk more and do more, and then I finally got my life back together, and somehow I had an iPhone 10 that I bought and gave him money for, but then he still on his plan. Then I asked to upgrade, and he said, "No, not really right now." But then eventually he did decide to upgrade because I came to visit him after I finished getting my degree with the University of North Texas, and I after I got my degree, he brought me out and we celebrated my degree by going to Star Wars Payback or something. It's a thing about Star Wars, but with loosely clad women. Anyway, it was an interesting show, and then my phone was defective, so he's going to replace it with just a regular phone. And then I wanted a really high end one. He wanted a low end one, and he called his wife. His wife said, "Get him something with USB C." So his iPhone USB C. That was iPhone 50. Anyway, so it ended up, I'm then I started just using. It was a great phone. I used it for when I went to I think CES. I did use it for 2000, and when I went to CES in 2025, as for the first time I was media, and somehow I got in there as media, and I somehow got in there as media, and um, I when I got there as media, I somehow was able to do something neat by being media. I I they I was able to stay and eat at lunches at the media bar. They have a media bar. If you're media, they feed you occasionally. And then they have media area, and I go in there and eat. The media, they're media people, and they were really pretty neat media people from different. organizations and different things, and that's press. Um, at CES at this is 225. I was also sleeping in my car sometimes, and also living. I would go find an Airbnb if I was trying to gamble money up. I only had $160. I live in Rancho Santa Margarita, so I filled up my tank and drove to Vegas. I I spent all my money on paying my bills, and my roommate finally gave me money for doing my for cable payment, and I used that to go to Vegas. Doubled my money when I got into Vegas, and then I went to the events. And then I tried to go to some events and did recordings and one of the big thing was one thermal tank was doing they just recently got a wheel. They didn't do wheels before, so they did a sim racing wheel, sim racing setup, and they had it against I think it was SimCube, and they're showing how. And then they also had a flight equipment. Uh, um, it was healthy, and it goes against Moza. Moza is really dynamic and neat stuff. I like Moza. Um, I don't know which would work on my current setup. I bought wheel pedals off of eBay, and then I got um, a cockpit from eBay, but the cockpit's only for um, Logitech, but it can also work with Moza, and it can also work with um, Logitech, and it can't work with Fantech. So anyway, it was neat seeing those things at CS, and then after CS, I for some odd reason I got something up in my ads, and I said I was going to write a post about January 6th and um, the Republicans and the loss of life in the Capitol and people who I thought was bad that people had to die because people stormed the Capitol, and I'm a Republican, and I got pissed off that all these Republicans stormed the Capitol and people died, and no one gave a shit. Well, why didn't people give a shit? You know? And then when Trump gets in, he says, "Yeah, I pardoned all those fuckers." Yeah, well, he didn't say. Did he say, "Well, did I talk to the people that died?" No, 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 no. Did he talk about um, all the people that were injured? Nope, no, no, no. He said he pardoned everybody, and so yeah. And I got in trouble with some people around here, I guess, because I posted and I had my address on my website and everything else. So somebody came over and stored my radiator in my car. I started having problems with water overheating. And then I had somebody replace the radiator, or she said she did. And then she said the engine was bad after she replaced it. So I had to tow it back, and I got tired of not. I just started walking everywhere. I had to, in 2026, I went back to CS. I couldn't fly. I had to, I just had to take a flight. I reserved a place for a week, and um, with our Airbnb. But I went as media, and no one looked at me as media. It was sad. I said, "Oh, I'm media," and they went to these parties, and they're like, "You know, you're not," and so they didn't invite me in for parties. I went to I did go to one event that was kind of cool. It was the NVIDIA event, and I did go, and I got in the media as media, and so it was a media only event. And also, even went into the executive room, saw something about Linus and this other guy, and about and I took one. It was pretty cool. But I didn't even saw Linus in 2025, and I was going to say hi, but I was too chicken to go see him. I did meet one of his employees though at the media press area. I wrote to him, and he never replied. I wrote to him multiple times, and but life goes on. My day's not going real well. Are you Jay? I'm wondering. I'm just wondering. I don't know. Alexander HRSC, are you Alexander? How's life been treating you, man? Hey, Eric, I'm looking for Daniel Stern after he electrocuted himself. I have no idea where he electrocuted himself, and I really can't answer that question. This isn't that type of post. Um, I wish you luck, man. If you electrocute yourself at home, why don't you go ahead and use a fork? Have a great day, guys. Hey, Paper Rose. Um, I Appreciate it. Thank you for the clap. Anyway, what this is about is customer service. I'm on YouTube, and I try to contact people on YouTube, on social media, and other things, and I can't find ways to contact YouTube. I can contact them through contacting them through the actual YouTube app sometimes, and I didn't get any responses. I even tried contacting them through mail. They don't have, and when you connect, there's no phone numbers. There's no way to contact people. And on Facebook, it's hard place to you contact people. There's no phone numbers. There's no phone numbers, and and most of the things are you tried. There's no emails now, and there's no. You have to use chatbots. Chatbots sometimes work, sometimes don't. I even had a big thing on if you go to Spaces Box, and I tried to get um, 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 sim racing equipment working on cloud gaming and a donation some racing equipment on and it's on Spaces Box under Get Back to Space. You click on that and there's 8 different chatbots giving me 8 different responses of different things using Firefox and using people hate Firefox for some odd reason, but I love Firefox because it was it keeps on giving. After every year we try to keep on somebody tries to keep killing it, and it was on everything. That's the reason I like Firefox. It was on every platform. It was on Linux machines. It was on Windows machines. It was on PCs. It had you could put limit. You could put Firefox on a cube or something. Just Firefox was one of those things that people just were able to somehow get it going on different things. And some people would do the same thing with uh, Doom. I think the game Doom. Anyway, just trying to read and see if there's any other comments. Hope y'all stays going good. This is at 5:23 in the morning and I live in Rancho Santa Margarita. Um, and I really don't have a problem with Jay Two Cents. Though I see him everywhere. I don't know why I see Jay everywhere. And I I um I don't know if he's good or bad. I think he's probably a decent guy, but maybe he's not. I don't know. In my head, sometimes this character named Jay, you know, tortures me, and another one called Adam tortures me. And I know a guy named Adam, and he wasn't that bad, but sometimes he can be that bad. I know them from. I went to a dual use group, and the only reason I was at the dual use group was because it wasn't because of drug use. It was because I just needed to go to a place where people talk about voices, and I hear voices in my head, and I thought I just want to learn. I used to go to the another group in Rapido Mental Health, and um, in Colorado, and that's what I was trying to do here. And when I was initially coming here, because I was going to Orange County, and I had to do different things when I was in the homeless shelter here in Laguna Beach, and that's why I went. I also went um, to get meds for my disability of hearing voices, and also um, hearing getting pain from being attacked. When some of my voices attack me, they attack me with knives and shoot me, give me pain, and inject things into me, and it just really is painful. Um, I fight things every day, and I live. I just try to live my life. I try to be the most unique person I can be. I'm not perfect. I've never been perfect. I hear, I pray to God, I pray to Jesus, I pray to God, and I pray to the Holy Spirit, but also just live life. And I sometimes go and do, stupid things. I've done stupid things throughout my life. I've looked at porn, um, but I've also done other things. I've prayed. I've worked at pantry multiple years. I have multiple months. I've worked at Solana Catholic churches in the pantry, volunteering, trying to get food to people. I sometimes get food from them. I get only 1,200 a month. So yeah, sometimes when the medium house around here is $1 million, and $1 million for a house, and farms are like $3,000 or $4,000. It's hard to be able to afford anything. Um, and it's just hard to be alive. Um, I love California. It's not bad. I I didn't mean to come out here to be homeless, but my sister wanted me to get into friendship, and I that's how I got in, and then I got in the housing program, and that's how it's been. But you know, I I worked before I did this. I lived with my brother and tried to find work, and then I lived with him a year and a half. Got to know his family, and then before that, I worked at Office Depot. And I've worked for Office Depot for over 4 years, and then I got two bad damn surveys because my voices were really bad, and I was taking care of customers and customer service, and this is what this post is about. When I got fired for it. You know, I got fired because I was stupid. Occasionally, some two times I came on to women, and that was stupid. I got talked about that, but the other times was I was just, you know, I would take care of customers, and I'd take care of them most of them, but we'd have lines, and I look back and at the tech mention, "Ugh, why aren't the people helping me get the lines out?" I'm like, "Help, help, help!" you know, and they're all busy about, I guess tech services were more important than taking care of the customer, and then I got fired for it. So, and then I had vacation, and I had also, uh, and then they fired for me for cause, so I lost my vacation, and then because they fired me for cause, I wasn't rehireable, and so, um, when people called and like I went back to Best Buy after and asked for a job, they said, "Well, we contacted Office Depot and you're not rehireable, so we can't hire you." So once you did one job, you're kind of stored on the other ones, you know. Um, but and then it's all about customer service and about taking care of the customer and trying to take the customer and do the best you can. I did. I tried to work with a lady on social media here locally. I did also, and I bought her website, and after she did I still own the website or have own the, I try to contact her and say, you need you take your website. I gave you the information to get your website. It's still on name. I can't control it. I I told name that you own it. You can take it over. I don't want it. Um, though she did work on my car. She she replaced the radiator, and then she said the engine wasn't going to run because it might blow. And I said I was going to risk the engine, so I had it towed over back up to I had it towed by USA to this location she wanted to work on and towed back. And then eventually I said, screw it, I'm going to run the car because I don't want to. I'm not going to lose the car. I'm not going to lose if it's and I got the engine going and it was running. And I was like, all right, I got the car going. I got this, the starter. I had problems with the starter, just getting the starter to work with the darn car, and finally got the engine going, and and then I can't. I put in gear, move through the gears, and won't move. It won't move well. And then I look at the transmission fluid. Oh, it's all messed up looking. So then I guess she did maybe replace the radiator, but all the transmission is completely ruined, and I can't change gears. I can't. The car will run, but it doesn't do anything. And then also the engine has other issues. Um, the the door when the guy knocked my radiator, he also made it where I couldn't open my car. So my car have to leave. I have to leave my car open because my battery's dead, and I can't use the key to get into my car because my key for my door is ruined. So I have to replace the key for the door and the key for the ignition, and that's like $500. And the car, I looked up in the car, and the car's only worth $150. You know, and so I've been paying like $120 a month for insurance. That's the saddest part of it through USA. And and it's just liability. It's not full coverage. And so it's sad. I did have full coverage on my other vehicles, and I had great service through USA. But lately, I can't get into anything because my old phone was everything. I had everything tied to my phone number, and also to um, doing it through having a my 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 password through and LastPass, and then my passwords through authentication, and then I had it through my phone number. So I had three ways of blocking people from getting access to my accounts. Well, those three ways make it impossible for me to get into my accounts now because they're all fucking blocked because I now have when I lost my phone, all three things went away. So I screwed. And I don't know. Maybe Donald Trump did it. Yeah. I everybody says I blame Donald J. Trump. Well, and he stole money from me when I sent money to this girl in the military that was in the, she was in the, she was a member of, she was going through a thing in the place called the Naval Academy. And she was a cute girl, and somehow I got in contact with her, and somehow we were missing each other. And she always saying she needed money for food, and I would send money occasionally. And then I got addicted, just trying to take care of the girl. And I got so much in love that I would send her anything I got. And then eventually, I finally broke my addiction, but I did, she basically let me do she if she told me to do something or let her control my account, so I let her do it, and I was completely stupid. I was completely stupid. Now afterwards, now a voice in my head said it was somebody else doing it. It was saying it was Donald Trump, and I don't know if Donald Trump is dead or not. I don't really give a shit. But the only thing is, all that money's gone, and I could use that money now. And also, I helped my brothers, and I helped them both, and neither of them came back and helped me. Um, because they helped me, I helped them before my I ended up going into the Salvation Army, and I had my dad had a piece of property, and then all his kids all got parts of it when it was sold, and then we all got money. Well, my sister should have set me down and said, "You need to buy a house and a car," but I was stupid and went through the money, but and it's my fault. I understand that. But my brothers, everybody else came up and said, "Hey, can we borrow a few dollars?" And so my friends, yeah, yeah. And I didn't help anybody out. But then I found out that when I helped everybody out, they didn't help me out. And I realized it came to me that when I was homeless again, I became homeless after I came back to Amarillo. They weren't going to take me in. They said, "No, we're not taking you in. You used it for drugs, or you did this, or you did that." Well, I remember loaning you money, and you didn't help me. Thank you. I appreciate that. And then I was one day after I got off work from um, working for a place at Best Buy. It was snowing, and like a foot of snow. And my brother's like, "Hey, Christian, where the hell are you?" And yeah, well, there's a foot of snow. I and everybody's already left, so I'm like, I have to walk the whole way up to my dad's house, and I walked the whole way up to his house, and and where my dad and my stepmom lived, because she wouldn't let me stay there, and then had to have him give me a ride back to Salvation Army, and he's like, "I can't do this, man, and I'm too stressed." I'm like, "Well, why don't you stay here tonight?" And then I said, "Can I?" And then he went and talked to somebody and came back, and I guess I need to take you. And he took me to Salvation Army. Yeah, I could have died that night. I could have froze to death because I had to walk the whole way from Best Buy to his house. His house was on 34th, and Best Buy was on on the I-40, and it kind of sucked. Life is not perfect. You know, he's now a doctor. My brother is, and my other brother is. I don't know what he's doing, but they're both great guys. Yeah. I had enough question earlier about stuff about sex offenders and stuff. Well, yeah. At one point, he dated a girl that he was in high school and she was in high school and he was a certain age and she was a certain age and he could have been maybe a sex offender. But no, he's not. He he took responsibility and married the girl and had three beautiful kids. And he's a great guy. But I had my only issues because I was one of the stupid guys that he talked to me and said he needed stuff and needed help. And I went and gave him all I had. And when I did give him all I had, he didn't give me anything back. And so life goes on. Yeah, I'm disabled, low income. I hate being disabled and low income. I'd love to find a good job. I'd love to find life. I love my voices just to go away. I love my pain to go away. I have pain all the time. Physical pain, spiritual pain, other pain. And yeah, I may be am God. I maybe not am God. I may be a president of worlds, maybe. Or maybe an ambassador. Maybe I'm too fairy. I don't know what I am. Maybe I'm just a rabbit, Do, 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 do. Like the bug, the rabbit off of, you know, Energizer Bunny. But life goes on. Life will always be good to you when you do the best you can, when you pray and you do the best for God, but you do the best for, you know, I'm no angel. I'm no devil though. I've had good times, I've had bad times. I've done the best for myself, and I've done the best for the worlds I've worked for and for the country I've worked for. I love the United States. I love the freedom it stands for. I love the Constitution. I love the Bill of Rights. I love the things that make this country the beautifulest country there is. All the different things this country stands for, and all the things that God, you know, somehow made the founders wise enough to make it. We made it 250 years or more now. 250 years. Isn't that amazing? You know, and I was hoping this other thing I did won't last that long. I don't know if the world, supposedly I call it the world, I don't know if they're going to make it that long or not. Um, but I know they supposedly have a constitution, Bill of Rights, and all that other stuff too. Supposedly we're controlled by imps, and now we're not controlled by imps. I don't know. I got stupid one night, and a bunch of us on this one clan I was in my head were said we're going to go free this world because it was a slave world, and we went and proceeded and saved it. And then, like 2 months later, I find out my country and my world is controlled by imps, and I feel fuck. I saved the world, but I can't save my own world. So I became to try to save my own world, but I don't know if I saved my world. My world is screwed up. We love each other. We fight each other. Why do we have all these random things of people going and getting guns and shooting everybody? We shouldn't do that. But that shouldn't happen. But, why, mass shooting? Why do we have mass shooting? Mass shooting is because everybody's mentally ill, right? Or is it because people don't give a shit? Or is it because everybody thinks they're other imps and imps shoot each other because they think it's funny because they don't die? But when you shoot an imp, you don't kill them. But when you shoot a human, they die. So, a bullet hole will actually, make the heart, not work. But an imp just recycles and begins life again. So, you know, that's something that imps worlds have is mass shooting. And worlds where in the world where we have, um, but that's only if they have guns and other things. Most of those places don't have guns. They don't believe in guns. They don't believe in the Bill of Rights. They don't believe in the freedom of religion, the freedom of express, the freedom of the right to bear arms, and all the things that make the United States what it is. The United States is a beautiful country. It's been there for 250 years. Washington was lucky enough to be the first president, and lucky enough that his term of office, he said, "Screw it, I'm done. Good luck, guys." They had slaves, and we had slaves then, and it wasn't a good time. In the 1860s, we had a civil war, and was about states' rights and also slavery. And we ended slavery. And we ended a lot of the state right things, but we changed them. But, different things. We fought over and was the most bloody civil war there was of all the wars we ever had has been the Civil War. We've had lost more lives in the Civil War than any other war in our existence in the United States. And we fought for it. We fought so hard because we wanted. Some people want one right, and some people other one other rights. If Texas had succeeded from the Confederacy and not joined the Confederacy, just seceded by itself and was by itself, it would have been okay because it signed on to the United States by treaty. If it said the treaty is finished, we're leaving as a country and becoming Texas the country again, we could have done it. But when we decided to joined the Confederacy, we lost that right. I live in California, but Texas was one of the few states that was a own physical country before it joined the United States. It was its physical existence as a country. Anyway, and it's a state history thing if you're a Texan, certain things. Anyway, I'm doing this with my iPhone 15 Pro Max. I got from Mobile Supply. So check out Mobile Supply if you on Amazon or if you want to check out other things. Um, Looks like, and also if you're big fans of Mobile Supply, give them a shake from me. I don't know. They gave me a defective phone, then they gave me this one. This one seems to be working. I don't know if it's It's not the greatest one, but I'm hoping still to go to events in Taiwan. I got in as media. I'm media at CES 2025. I'm media at CES 2026 content creator. I did have a content creator badge. I did go up to the badge office in CS, and they said, "You're still media. Why aren't I blue?" They had different colors, and when I went to media the first time, it was green, and then content creator was yellow, and then at CS, and that's why I was wondering. But then anyway, so, but then I did meet these three girls at the press area, and they were from the event at the Taiwanese show, and they said, "Yeah, you need to come out and go to our event." So I tried to get in their event, and somehow I've been able to get into the event. I just can't find a way to get there and pay for it. And I was going to take loans and go do it, but it's like 4 grand. I also wanted to go to my nieces and nephews. I have two nieces graduating, one graduating from high school that I wanted to see her graduate and see how amazing she was. And also wanted to see um, my niece, what's graduating with a PhD. I want to see how amazing she was. She was also maybe a movie star, and I thought she was an amazing woman as a movie star, and she's an amazing girl as a PhD. And then I have a son, a nephew. That's my other. I have my and the PhD one is my goddaughter, and my godson also graduated from college, and you know, um, he was graduating with bachelor's degree. I wanted to see all these people's graduations. I also still want to go to Olin. I was a foreign exchange student. I did a crappy job as a foreign exchange student in Olin. I just kind of I couldn't learn the language because when I was 7 or 8 years old, I my mom always took me a place in Amarillo called Speech and Hearing, and we were to learn how to speak. That's why I don't have a Texas accent. I talk like a New York because I don't. I had to learn how to speak. After then, my mom died in a car accident, and I kept going there. And mom, my older sister died, and that just sort of evolved. And when I got to the next stage, um, I had dyslexia also. So when I went to Olin, I just couldn't pick up the language, and then they got mad at me for that, and also just hanging out and doing stupid things. And I wrote a letter because I was part of Rotary Club, and Rotary Club is a bunch of businesses that get together and try to send people to different places in different worlds, and they're called Rotary Club. They try to let people understand what is like in different, you know, what it's like in this country versus in their country. And you meet all these different exchange students, and you talk to them about their lives in their countries and how people are. And that was kind of cool because it was the same way when I was at CES at the press area, talked to these three girls that were for Taiwan. I could talk to them about Taiwan. Anyway, um, well, the uh, anyway, the thing about the when I was and my sister was foreign exchange student also in Spain at the same time I was a foreign exchange student in Olin, so I went to see her. I got it okayed and with my host mother, and got it okay with the Rotary Club, and went to see her and spend time with her. And then I went, and my brother was then there also. We were in Spain, went around Europe, and went to a couple, like 3 or 4 different countries. And then I somehow got back. When I got back, I took some pictures off of the Eiffel Tower, and I gave them to my friends, and they were my favorite pictures at the time. But when I finally got back to Olin, um, um, everything was going good, and I was trying to get the language. I couldn't get the language, and so I got to the point where I was just not getting any well. So I started being stupid, and I would cut class and go to Stockholm and go underneath the metro and go on the metro and just go all around on and go in places in Stockholm just to see Stockholm because it was it's just like New York. It's like a huge town, and Olin was like 2,700 people, and Goody, where I was staying at that time, was like 2,000 or 3,000 people, and Stockholm's like a million or a billion, So I wanted to, you know. I grew up in a town, 200,000, so this is, everybody in Olin knew everything about everybody else. So, I was kind of a stupid person. But they had two Rotary clubs, and they were really awesome people. Um, they were, and they really took care of me. I'm trying to go back to there so I could, I was never able to give the speech about Amarillo, Texas, and how unique Amarillo, Texas was to the people in Nolan. I did tell it to my class I was in, and I was in high school. I was in a junior level, and when I came back, I graduated as a senior that year. I finally got kicked out and went home, and I was still a singer, so I became a singer, and I had to do all this makeup work, and somehow I graduated um, with honors and got my degree from Tascasa, and then I went to over the summer. I went with my sisters and brothers, went to Texas A&M, and went to school there for the summer. And then I was stupid. My brother shipped and said, "Hey, you need to stay here and get a degree." But I didn't go in and talk to him, so I came back and did Emerald College for 10 years, and then got a degree in networking computers. But anyway, um, and I had some interesting life in Emerald. Um, but now I live in Rancho San Margaret, and I'm disabled, no income, and live on disability. My hair is I'm losing my hair. Um, I have a beard. I'm not the cutest guy in the world, and I try to be good to people, and I hope people are good to me. I try to bring food, and I try to give food to people that are needy, and I always try to take care of a. I had a roommate that me and him had issues, but I went to see my sister and family, and I came back and I found a turkey half cooking turkey cooked in the microwave, and my apartment totally disastered, and so I had to alert my people, and they had to evict my roommate, move him out, and I got another person. She's been with me for the last 11 years. Oh, now a woman, um, but but he got kicked out, and I tried to take care of him. He was a black gentleman, his name Melvin, but he's a great guy. Took care of, he had his issues and other things, and we had our issues. And then I he had to get his stuff out of storage, and I had to move him out of storage, and he had no money, and I took care of him. But then I said I can't help you anymore because I no more gas. Then I my car got its radiator. Um, um, I had kind of like a converter stolen, and I got rid of that car, and then I got another car, and somehow I was driving in the middle of the 405, and it just stopped working. Me and I was taking my roommate to school, and I had it towed home, and the engine blew, and then I got this car, um, and then now this car is totaled, so I'm out of a car. But I'm working, trying to take care of people and trying to help people and trying to make good tasty food, and I'm trying to, and also just doing, I'm a tech. I try to get people interested in maybe going to their house and fix their computers or fix their technology, or they may do social media advertising or do something else. I'm proud of my degree at University of North Texas, Frisco. I did work really hard to get the degree at Frisco. It was, I did 30 hours, I think, or 25 hours. Um, and I had 120 hours transfer from Emerald College, and then there, I think 10 or 12 hours from University of Texas A&M. Um, and then I got my degree, and I'm really proud of that. But I have like $30,000 in loans because of that. And I bought loans. I bought different things, computers and different things, but I also just paid. I sent some money of this to Zoe, and I spent, I tried to learn all the stuff I could to do on these classes. But now I'm trying to rebuild my life and trying to be able to, not be disabled, not be low income, not have all the problems I have, and trying to be unique and lovable, and making my life worthy of something and worthy of. And I think this world is worthy of being a capital world. I believe this world is unique enough. I believe that I am unique enough and wonderful enough to be what I am. But I don't know. Life is what it is. Maybe God intended us to live life only once, and maybe I've lived it multiple times, and every time it gets worse or better. This time is the best it's been, but unfortunately, I think my family even were supposedly were going to come, and somehow they got killed, and now I'm kind of depressed because now I don't have a family. I do have a family of friends of my existing physical family, like my sisters and brothers from my dad's marriage, but right now I'm not really talking to my two younger brothers. I'm not, and my older brother's having some issues with me about me losing his phone and other things, and and then some of their family just we weren't talking, not as good as what I'd liked us to. I love my family. I love everybody in my family. I love my family in the other dimension. I connected to my head, and I talk to them and try to take care of them. And then I'm just trying to take care of everybody I can. But sometimes voices is a pain in the ass. Sometimes hearing things and seeing things is hard too. I see things when my eyes are closed. Like right now, my eyes are closed. Sometimes I will see things, and when I'm asleep, I see things. But it's not. I don't have. I can hear things in physical. See, I can imagine where people are by through hearing them, and then seeing them also sometimes. And I'm fighting and fighting and fighting. And I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of having some people say, why don't you, my voices say, Donald Trump wants to put you in a mobile home. No, 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 not a mobile home, a mental home. And, put you in a mental home. Not let you be a person, not let you have a life, put you in that mental home so you can, have people take care of you or make you an AI. So why would they make you an AI? Why would they? Why would they want you in a mental home? You know, I met my friend. I was taking care of a guy a long time ago, and I was his payee. And then I stopped being his payee because he kind of got abusive. And then um, he, the lady that was taking care of him said, "Screw it! I'm not taking care of you anymore. I'm putting you in the I'm putting you in the home because um, he couldn't take care of himself." And when he got, because he had brain bleed and serious things, and when he was in the home, I would go visit him, and he was got pissed off one day. He had a nice brand new TV and supposedly threw it against the wall. Then I came back the next day, a week later, and he had this other TV, and he said, "Why'd you?" And he got mad at me for not fixing it, and I'm like, "Well, I need the tools to fix it, so I'll come back and fix it another day." Um, he was, he was a guy I met at Salvation Army. I was living in this one dorm area at the end in the program. I was in the outgoing program, and that's non-drug rehabilitation. Outgoing to going to work, and I was working at Office Depot at the time. At the end, I was working at Office Depot. And before that, I was working at Best Buy, and I knew him. And then I knew some other people there. One guy was a convict that he killed somebody in cold blood, and I met this other guy that. And there's another one of those guys that's in jail right now. I love him, but he's in jail because he's had issues with his ex-girlfriend, and I lost him. And I totally wrote to him a lot, and he said, and I said, "Why don't you work on your shift? Why don't you fix your shift? Why don't you make your life better? Why don't you do this? Why don't you, if she's as bad as you think she is about her mental illness or her physical health, you need to be up to your game so when you get home, you can take care of her." And he got pissed off at me and said, I'm ending the relationship." It kind of sucked. Um, and then I wrote to him one more time, and the letter went through, I guess. And then I wrote him a happy birthday card, and it came back. I'm hoping he's okay. I hope he's taken care of. I don't know. Um, he was a guy that at one point I had a lot of problems with my car, and when I had problems with my car, he'd come out and fix it. And also, we would go out and drink, or maybe just go eat, or go to Hastings. Hastings was a great place back then. Hastings in Amarillo was a neat place. I worked at Hastings at one point in my life. I also worked for Anderson's at one point. Those are businesses started a lot of people's lives that enjoyed watching TV, going to movies, or reading books, or they did a lot of stuff for also for the music scene, where they brought a lot of people in that with DVDs and not DVDs and Blu-rays, but CDs and records. And people, a lot of people in the early days when they learned, they would come in and play for Hastings, or they play for Andersons, and the people would say, "Okay, you're pretty good. Well, we'll put you on and we'll show you." At that time they were taking care of Walmart, and they were also taking care of Hastings. So Hastings, because they were both were semi-owned by the same person, and he was taking care of everything. Now, he, both those businesses are gone. You know, I'd love to bring businesses back to Amarillo because Amarillo was my home, but Rancho Santa Margarita is my home right now. I've been here about a year, but before that I lived in Mission Viejo, and Mission Viejo was great. Um, if you look at cooking with Space, aka Michael Willie, I went to the barbecue event on Mission Viejo. It was really tasty food. Nice event. Um, there's sim racing with Michael. It's on my sim racing channel. It's all about sim racing and learning how to sim race and and that's because my voices were this guy named Emperor Two, I think, and his son Junior. and they wanted me to learn to do the sim racing. And I went on eBay and got me a Logitech wheel and force feedback wheels. And then I got a stand-up sim racing equipment. And I got tired of using the stand-up equipment, so I ended up getting a cockpit and and spent a lot of time doing it. I even went to the event in Long Beach. They had the race, the Long Beach race. And then it was cool to go down there and see the race cars and actually see the event. I saw that there was also an event in Las Vegas that looked like it was really cool, um, and I haven't been back for that. But and then when I was in Las Vegas, I did see that Blake Shelton was going to come in and do his event when I was there for CES 2026. Um, After that. But I didn't know why you didn't have it. It didn't say him and Gwen were going to do an event together, and I like Garth Brooks, and he and his wife do events together, and I like that. I think that's pretty cool, where you can go to a concert and you can see two different people. They're married together and they can work together. Anyway, thanks for watching. I appreciate this is a live video. It's been on for about 46:10. I have three people saying yeah, and there's no one in here right now. I don't know if anybody wants to watch or anything, so I'm going to let it go. Thank you for watching. Thank you for having a great time. And if there's anything I can do for you, let me know. May God and Jesus and Holy Spirit be with you. And if you're imp, may the imp God be with you, because it might be the imp God. And also may we find happiness and success. And if we're part of the world, I think we'll be awesome. If we aren't, then we're not. And if imps don't exist and the worlds don't exist, that's fine too. That could be make believe. I have a book that I have on my website. It's called Make Believe and Bullshit, and maybe that's all make believe and bullshit. But at one point, we had things like planes. Were they bullshit and make believe? Yeah. Look at when back in the 1600s, did people fly around in planes? No, they didn't. What about going to the moon? Yeah, we went to the moon. Was that make believe and bullshit? Some people say that was make believe and bullshit. It was done in some backstage office. Or did we actually get? Well, we have rocks from it, so we did go to the moon. Um, you know, we have rockets and other things. So who knows? I don't know. I don't know if these people in my head are real or not. I really don't give a crap. I fight every day and I try to do the best by other people. I'm sorry, I'm shaking right now. Bad shaking. I guess this phone doesn't have enough stabilization for me. Um, Thank you for watching. And may God be with you, and may give me enough wisdom to make the right decisions in life, and right decisions to take care of people, and how the right decisions to people take care of me. Um, I pray for you, and I hopefully things will get better for me, and things will get better for you. I think we need. I do think that we lack something in customer service right now in big businesses is they want to go to chatbots instead of killing all the support things like phones where you call them on the phone or email. They want to go, let's use a chatbot. Well, a chatbot's wonderful up to a point, but sometimes you need to talk to a physical person, and trying to get to the physical person is harder than crap. To get, I was trying to contact some of my companies because of my phone missing and my services, and I get locked out because they won't let me get in because it calls me back to my phone, and my phone I don't have ability to answer calls on that phone number because I lost the phone number and I lost the phone. And so, you know, so I can't use that, and I can't use email. I can't use that. It's hard. Um, Sometimes getting physical, you have to send a letter, or you have to email a letter, fax a letter, and faxes are no longer existent. There used to be a faxing, right, at one point. And faxing used to be really big in the selling houses because if you sell a house or something, or sold a piece of property or do something, you use a fax machine. Or if you worked at the medical office, my dad's office, we'd have faxes out the bazoo because people would send records, and then they'd also send medical stuff and medical supplies, and they could request other things. I worked for him for over 10 years. I got disability through SSDI. It's where I've worked most of my life. I don't get it for SSI, and I worked hard on my life trying to be a service to people. Um, and unfortunately, it wasn't a good service to me. I need to be a better service to me. I need to take care of me now, because uh, I can't always be the one to take care of everybody else because everybody else doesn't take care of me. You know, I give money, and if people don't take care of me, and I give them money, and they don't take care of me, why should I take care of them? You know, if I send you food and you don't take care of me, why should I take care of you? You know, um, if I take care and and do a review, you give me a product, I'll do a review, and then I take care of you. I got a PCI Express card for my computer, and I did 5 or 6 videos of it. I got a cooler, a hardware cooler. I did 2 or 3 videos. I got a phone from a friend. I did 2 or 3 videos, and then the phone died. So unfortunately, after the phone died, I would have done more videos. But and then everything I've ever gotten, I've always tried to do a lot of videos from the donations that I've gotten, or spiritual. Somebody calls me up and says, "Hey, I could help you." I can do whatever I can do to help the person. And then if they, I used to always take everybody everywhere in my car. I'd take them to the pantry. I'd take them to, because I wasn't at one point I wasn't using Solana Catholic Church pantry. I wasn't When I first got here. I didn't use it. I went to there was like 2 other pantries. One's at St. Killian's. I went to St. Killian's because that was my old church, and then there's another church called um, the Church of Christ, and they do a thing every other Thursday night. You get a meal, and then there's a pantry. Sometimes, but I know the lady there. She runs it, and she's really nice. Um, and then sometimes I go and see her and just to talk. She says she's a big fan of my sim racing stuff. But I talked to her about that and see how she's a life stream trainer. And then also, I talked to um, another place, another pantry that I've run into my old case manager that I used to work with in Friendship Shelter. She's dating my older case manager that was another person that took care of me in Friendship Shelter. And they're both great people, and I'm really happy for them. You know, life, you can't find that. If you find somebody you really love and share your life with, then God's been really good to you. If you can share your love and share your heart and share your soul, even if you maybe in this other world, another dimension, maybe when I was being attacked a lot, this lady came and gave me part of her soul, and I gave her part of my soul, and she was from a different world, um, and maybe I'm part, and that's why when sometimes I come on my channel on my Google Live YouTube, I'm like Barney, and that's a shape shifting dinosaur. And maybe also since somehow I took care of a lot of I had kids. I After I killed the Emperor too, I had his kids. I had him as a kid and his father as a kid, and these other 2 as a kid and 6 of his kids. Well, so now I had 10 kids somehow. Anyway, they I was also they made me become an emperor. I don't want to be an emperor, but I was things are weird in life. So you do what you have to do, and maybe it's all make believe bullshit. And if it is, it's cool life. Still it's still something interesting maybe to write about, and maybe something just to laugh about. Yeah, and listen to these voices in your head, and if the voices go away, the voices go away. But maybe in the next life you see them, and you get to know them, and you have a life. Life is precious, and you should live life. And have a great day, guys. Bye. I need to figure out how to end this